welcome back to Color Me Kris with me, Kris Michaels. I'm going to do something different with my channel for a while, and hopefully it'll work. I'm going to do Throwback Thursdays, where I'm going to show you some videos that I did with my old channel, Christopher's Corner, which I took down because I had a moment, okay? It was election night. I just decided to leave all of social media. So sit back, grab a snack, and enjoy this Throwback Thursday. Today, I thought I would just do a little bit of a whip-in chat, work in progress. I thought we'd have a little chat just so you could see what's going on with me. And hopefully down in the comments, you'll all let me know how you've been and what's going on with you and all that good fun stuff. So this video is from quite a while ago, about 2.5 years. And it was the first marker coloring I'd ever done. I had purchased some very inexpensive markers. And it's just a disaster from start to finish. But you get to hear an interesting story about some horrible people that I had become Storm became friends with, and then I became friends with. And so it's juicy and fun. So sit back and enjoy. So far, so good. What I like about these... Oh, it's bleeding a little. I was afraid of that. Or maybe it's just my old eyes aren't seeing it right. What I do like about these pens, I've used them, I just have not used them on camera, is you have this end for the smaller, and then you have the thicker end if you want to do larger areas. So I like that. I think that's cool. Right now we're using the small one. So, I know it's been a while since I've done anything. I apologize. My life has been weird. I've had some eye problems and stuff, and just life, Sometimes that's all it takes to mess you completely up. I'm on some new blood pressure medication that just makes me so tired. Oh my God, does it make me tired. So I take them in the morning, and if I'm lucky, they don't knock me out for hours, but I haven't been so lucky. And so, of course, that takes up a lot of time. And even if they don't knock me out, they make me just not want to do anything except sit like a lug, and that's what I've been doing. And I have told my doctor repeatedly, I'm sorry I'm not doing better here, repeatedly that, these are really strong, but they're doing the trick. And so all the doctor really looks at is that, they're keeping my blood pressure in the numbers that he likes. Let's put it that way. And I like them too, because I don't really want to drop dead, from stroke or heart attack or something. But I just hate it that they knock me out so much. So anyway, I've been trying to do things that I can do. And then for the last 5 months, I was actually busy because Storm's friends, he's known these two guys for six and a half years, I guess now. And it was always a very strange situation because they knew about me. They knew that we were a couple, at least back then we were. But on holidays, they would invite Storm to their house, never invite me, and he would go. But anyway, about 5.5 months ago, suddenly these two wanted to meet me. We had met briefly when they came over one day for something. They wanted to meet me and start hanging out with me too, which, to be God's honest truth, when they suggested it, I actually got nervous and thought, why? And their first thing they wanted to do was go up into the hills around here, and El Dorado Hills and stuff,
and look at stars at night. And I thought, well, they're going to kill me. They're going to push me off the cliff and kill me. I really did seriously think that, because why after all this time, right? But we started hanging out. This actually looks pretty good, except for my screw-ups. But I like the way that this color is laying. But anyway, we started hanging out. The first night that we hung out was it Thanksgiving? Yes, I think it was Thanksgiving. And then we hung out for Christmas. And anyway, we all got along really good, and it was fun. I enjoyed having friends again, and they were as paranoid about COVID as I am. So we would test before we'd even get together. We had plenty of tests around, and make sure that we're all clear, because the one works in a hospital, and you know, it's kind of like the mouth of madness there. So you got to be really careful. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed hanging out with them so much. And they acted like they liked hanging out with me. And then, we actually started hanging out once a week. Then one night, they came over. The one wanted to show me his new glasses. Spent a while here. We had dinner. And then they went home. We watched a movie called One of My Wives is Missing. It's an old 1970-something movie with, Elizabeth Ashley and, what's his name? He played in the old show The Odd Couple. Well, anyway, it's a good movie called One of My Wives is Missing. You can find it on Prime. And I think it's like $2. And I bought it because it's a really good mystery. Oh my gosh, is it good. Twists and turns like every 5 minutes. And I love it. So we watched that, and then they went home. And I never heard from him again. And then Storm came in and told me that incredibly pissed off at me and never wanted to talk to me again. Because he was so upset at what I did. And I said, dear God in heaven, what did I do? Well, I'm not going to tell you. And I thought, well, that's okay. You know, he'll come to me and he'll tell me. Now, what did bother me about this is that's called triangling. And it's when you're pissed at someone, or when someone's pissed at someone. This usually happens in high school, elementary school. But, you know, 40-year-old people usually don't pull this shit off, unless they're pretty unhealthy. But what it is that instead of coming to me to tell me, hey, I'm mad at you, or you hurt my feelings, or whatever, he went running to Storm. And the reason to do that is so that Storm will yell at me, and then I will immediately reply with, oh, dear God, I'm so sorry what I did. Please forgive me. The funny thing is I had no idea what I supposedly had done. All I knew is that apparently I turned into the Antichrist and was so horrible and rude and nasty about some comment that I made that he never wanted to speak to me again. So I said, well, you know, if he can go running to Storm, because I don't do this triangle crap. I used to do it with girlfriends that I would have, and a lot of girls do it. You know, they'll have their friends call you to say, so-and-so's really upset with you. You need to call and apologize. You did this. But I wasn't getting the you did this. I wasn't being told what it was I had done. So I said, well, when he's ready to come to me instead of Storm and whoever else he's going to, we will talk about it, and I'm sure it was a misunderstanding, and we will get to the bottom of it. He never did come to me, ever. And I kept hearing from Storm what a horrible person I was, and how Storm should have stepped in when I said what I said. And I said, yes, Yes, apparently you should have, because I have no idea what the hell I said that was so horrible that it would cause all this problem. But I am not going to him. He should have come to me instead of you. But this upset me. It upset me a lot because it hurt me. And I couldn't figure out what I'd done. I would sit and I think this is part of what they wanted. And I would think, what could I have done? Could it have been this? Could it have been that? What was it that I did that was so horrible? 6 weeks later, after I had just racked my brain and waited for something, 6 weeks later, I remember we were friends for 5.5 months. Storm finally told me what it was. And it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard in my life. Granted, if he had said something that night, I would have said, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. But what it was, a night or two before they came over, Frick said, I would like to talk to you. Can we FaceTime? And I said, certainly. And I thought, it's funny because that's when I thought I did something wrong. It's like, being called to the principal's office. But anyway, he wanted to tell me about a dream he had. And it's very strange because I come from a very nasty childhood where my family, I'm not going to get into detail because I don't want to trigger any of you like I was. But it involved pets. It involved hurting the pets to punish me if they thought that I had been bad in some way. That's all I'm going to say. But I will tell you that I am so triggered by that I can't even watch movies where animals get hurt. There's a website called doesthedogdie.com. I'll have a link to that down below, and it should be on the screen. And it's a wonderful site because if you, I'll put a horror movie on and someone will have a dog or a cat. I'm like, uh-oh. And I will go to the site, doesthedogdie.com, and it will tell you no animal is harmed in this movie, or several animals are harmed, one animal is harmed on screen or off screen. It's great. And it has saved me from watching things that will trigger me. In fact, just the other night I was watching a movie trailer for a movie called, I screwed up there, for a movie called The Wrath of Becky. I think it's a sequel to another movie about a home invasion. And in the trailer, they graphically show, as far as I'm concerned, her dog being killed. And I freaked out, and I'm like, Christ, I can't even watch trailers now without being triggered. Well, anyway, getting back to this story, I like the way this looks. If I could just stay in the lines, Jesus. Frick told me in the FaceTime, that he had a dream a couple of nights prior where his cat had fallen off the roof and legs got broken. But then he said that the night before he dreamt of coming over here and hurting my dog, as in cutting my dog's legs off. Now, it was a dream, so I didn't think much about it. I didn't think it was going to trigger me. And it didn't feel like it had triggered me. And I, being a good friend, said, that's terrible, but, maybe it's from these stresses you've got going on. Tried to help him with it. And then Storm came in the room and Frick said, go ahead and tell Storm what we talked about, which I told Storm. Again, I didn't realize I was triggered. I think my defenses went up so that it wouldn't. So cut to the night that they come over to show me the glasses. And as soon as Frick started playing with Mystique, I started having visions, not visions, but flashes in my head of the dream that he had. And I started getting triggered. And I thought, oh God, I don't want to be triggered in front of anybody because I will become a blithering crybaby mess. And by the way, knows this. We've talked many times about movies I couldn't watch and stuff like that. So I'm like, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with this? And at one point, Mystique went to go get some food off Frick's plate, which is not allowed, but she was being a brat. And I thought, I'm going to make a joke, and maybe it'll help. And so I said, Mystique, don't do that. Auntie Frick will cut your legs off. And the joke did help relieve a bit. But I still, throughout the evening, kept having flashes and stuff of his dream in my head. I think that's enough for that one. Well, apparently that's what pissed him off, was that I dared to say that. And so this pissed him off. Now, if he had said something that night, and I truly do not believe Storm was like, oh, I should have said something. It was a joke. Frick laughed. He laughed. Storm laughed. Everybody laughed. So I really think this was a bunch of bullshit. Let me get another color. What color should I use for his body? We've got that one. Let's go with this one if it looks like this. I noticed that one's a lot darker than it was supposed to be. There we go. And I'm afraid to put that on there, so I won't. And so this is apparently what I had done. It was so horrible. So, and I apologize, but my battery died in my camera. So I did a little bit of work with this one that you missed, and I apologize. And I hope I remember where I was with the story with frickin' frack, but let's get this going first. Oh, I don't want to do that. I felt bad, you know, about it because I thought, gee, I didn't mean to be rude. I didn't even think the joke was rude and stuff. And then I talked to my friends, and finally I talked to my counselor. She knew how upset I was that I had suddenly been ousted from frickin' frack and Storm's little clique. I hated it, to be honest with you. But I was talking to her, and once and neither one of us could figure out what the hell it was I could have done that was so horrible. We didn't realize what it was, that it was a simple, dumb little joke. But when I told her, hey, guess what? I now know why I have been ousted. And I told her about it, and, you know, that he had told me about the dream of him hurting my dog, and I made a joke, and he was offended. And she said, hold on. Does he know your trauma with animal abuse and stuff like that from your family? And I said, oh, yes, we've talked about it many times. And in fact, I've told him how I, you know, have to use doesthedogdie.com because I can't handle it if an animal gets hurt in movies and stuff. And she said, but yeah, he insisted on telling you about his dream, where he deliberately in the dream hurt your dog in great detail. And I said, well, yeah, actually he did. And she said, wow, that's not someone that's a friend. That's someone who's trying to victimize you. And you know what? The minute she told me that and I realized how true that was, I was over it. I was over it, and I decided, yeah, you know what? This is someone who I don't want in my life. So I'm glad I was kicked out of their little clique. Because that's not something you do. You don't deliberately try to trigger someone's trauma from their childhood or past. I then no longer felt guilty. I no longer felt bad. And as my friend Tish said, you dodged a bullet there, Kristopher, because he probably did go to Storm so that you would go running to try and say, I don't know what I did, but please forgive me, whatever it was. And you didn't do that, and he didn't like it. He didn't like it at all. And in fact, I had said to Storm at one point, when Storm was like, you really should apologize. And I said, for what? I don't even know what the hell it is I did. He's not telling me. You're not telling me. Am I supposed to call every person I've ever met in my entire life every single day and say, "Hi, this is Kristopher. Hey, if I did anything yesterday that offended you or upset you, I'm terribly sorry. Please forgive me. Please don't hate me. Don't be mad at me. Please, please forgive me." Hang up, call the next person. "Hi, this is Kristopher." No. That's bullshit. And that's not how life works. So, yeah, I definitely dodged a bullet with that whole thing. And they've gone back to being the little threesome that they were. I was supposed to go over a long time ago. He'd planned it for Easter dinner, but Storm went because he was still invited, but of course I was uninvited. Now I look at it and I'm like, that's fine. No problem. But at the time it hurt me very much. And then there was something he had said that really bothered me when we were still speaking. In fact, it was the night that he told me about hurting my dog. He was talking about how lovely it is that he, Frick, and Storm could do things without
Frack.
And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Oh, well,
Frack.
he likes you so much." And so it's nice because Storm and I can go out and do stuff. And when we come back, you and Frack are sitting there at the table talking. And so it's no nice that Storm and I can run out and do things because the quote was, "You're something shiny and new for Frack to enjoy being around." And that really bothered me. I planned to talk to him about it, but I was shunned before that happened because I felt it made me feel like an object. I'm getting Frack out of the way, and it really bothered me. I did not like that at all. But I never got to talk to him about it to clarify it a little better because of the shunning. We'll just call it that. The shunning. So, like I say, they're back together hanging out and doing stuff. And without me, it's okay because that was not a friend. But it did hurt me, and I wasted, I feel, 5.5 months building a friendship that really wasn't a friendship. It was I don't know what the hell you would call it, but it certainly was not a friendship. So, anyway, that's what happened there, and that's done. So, be careful who you try to be friends with because they may not be the people you think they are.
So here is an update of what happened after all of this crap with frickin' Frack. A couple of months later, it was Christmas Eve. And Storm went over to their house on Christmas Eve, abandoning me on a holiday like he always did. And he came home very early. And it turned out that frickin' Frack got pissed off at Storm for something. He tells me he still doesn't know what. And they kicked him out. And it's interesting because they used to tell us when we would have dinners about, oh, we had these friends and those friends, but we just simply stopped speaking to them. So they've now done it to me, and they've now done it to Storm. And as far as I know, they've never told Storm why. They have never spoken to him again. And for about 2 weeks, Storm was very clingy towards me and feeling bad. But then he went back to, normal Storm, where he can't stand being around me. But I have to say, karma can be a wonderful thing at times, because that was the best Christmas Eve for me ever. Because definitely karma hit where it was supposed to. And, as I say, frickin' Frack told us they did this with others. So we both should have listened instead of just sitting there and not really listening, because as the old saying goes, if someone tells you who they are, listen, believe them. And we did not. So that's, at least at this point, a couple of years later, the end of frickin' Frack and their really messed up way of being friends. I mean, if I stop talking to somebody, I tell them. So the whole thing of just being a coward and not telling someone is not healthy. It's not healthy at all. So that's the end, at least at this point, of the adventures of Frickin' Frack and Storm being friends with them. So, again, karma can be a good thing at times. And now back to this disastrous Mercure experience that I had when I first used them.
We will do the surgery he needs on both hips. We will pay for it because this is a pre-existing condition none of us knew about. And I was thrilled. I was so thrilled. And these operations were not cheap. They were done about 3 months apart because the one hip has to heal. And basically they have to, well, I'm not going to get into detail because I don't want to trigger anyone. But they did it. Taking care of him for the 3 months was so hard. I couldn't have done it without Storm. It was very difficult because he's a big dog, as you'll see from the video. But when you first get it done, you can't let him stand for a couple of days. And he kept wanting to stand. And you have to kind of figure out when they need to go out and take them out and hold them up. You have to carry him out. Again, he's 88 pounds. Storm figured out a way to do it with towels, to where he could just pick up the towels and carry Thor outside that way. I'm probably making such a horrible mess of this picture. I apologize. But I'm just trying something new. And I suck at it too. So it was very stressful. And we slept in chairs with Thor in the room so we could, if he got up in the middle of the night, we would have to, get him to lay down again. Then after about a week of that, maybe it was less time, then you have to encourage them to get up. So at that point, he's like, I don't want to get up. And you have to encourage them to get up and walk around. So it was traumatizing for him and us because it triggered my childhood stuff, seeing him in pain. And Storm was tired and trying to do it. And then you have just enough time after that heals to forget how horrible it was. And then he had to have the other surgery. And he did, and boy, it all came back. Although the nice thing was after the first surgery, we both knew a lot more what to do with the second surgery. But the first surgery, we were just clueless. But they gave him all his pain meds and everything he needed, they gave him. And it was really nice of them. And then he had the second surgery. In some ways that went better, and in some ways it was more difficult. But they're done. He's completely healed. He can get up on the furniture now. In fact, they encourage that. He can play with Mystique again. He chases her and runs. He's better than he was before. And I'm thrilled about that because I love him. And Mystique needed a playmate, and so I'm really happy that that all worked out. In fact, why don't I insert some video here now?
Hi, Thor. Think. How you doing? Can you sit one more time? No, he's done sitting. And there goes Missy.
So that was Thor Mystique playing, and you can see he's all better, and I'm so happy. Knocking wood, just in case. And he's happy, and everybody's happy. But I have told Thor a couple of times, it's a good thing you don't have a third back hip. Because if you did, that one probably wouldn't get fixed, because it would have been too much. But it's all good. Oh, this one's all dry. Oh, crap. Well, okay. Shake it a little bit. Are markers supposed to dry up that easily? Yeah. I've never used these, and I only got them maybe, I don't know, 6-8 months ago. Anyway, maybe it was longer. Who knows? All right, well, let me get a different color. All right. This is the second one I've gotten. I think these pencils just suck. So if you have these, you let me know. Do they suck? Because it's sucking for me. So I'll go back to the round pencils. And we'll see what this one does. I guess I'll be throwing some pencils out. Okay, so where was I? So now they play and they have fun and they love each other. And it's great. Thor adores Storm because Storm can play with him in ways that I cannot, being disabled. So Thor adores Storm, and that's okay. As long as Thor's happy, that's okay. I wish Thor, he's super affectionate. He loves to just cuddle. He thinks he's a lap dog, and as you can see, he's not. And I'm sucking here, and I apologize that I'm doing so bad. I think I will stick with pencils and not even try to do markers. These markers, though, this one, are nice. And I got them both at the same time, so I don't know why the others are all dried up. But they are. They'll be tossed. But anyway, he's just full of love. And I can't imagine why anyone would get rid of him. But I think it was because they thought, oh, I can't pay for the surgery. But actually what's sad is they didn't even take him to the shelter. They just turned him loose out in the streets. And I think that's terrible. So I'm all for rescuing animals. And I'm sure a lot of you have rescued animals. And I'd love to hear about them. So in the comments, feel free to tell me about them. And let's see, so other than that, let's see. What movies have you all been watching? We wait for streaming. We're still paranoid about going out in public and stuff like that. We don't want to catch anything. And I still wear a mask. I'm probably always going to wear a mask. And I don't care if they say you don't have to. I'm going to. Because for, 3 years now? No colds, no flu. I want to keep it that way. So, I would like to go see The Little Mermaid. I'm so looking forward to that. But I'm not sure if I'll go to the theater. I know it'll be at the drive-in. We actually have a drive-in here. So, I might go see it at the drive-in. I'm not sure. Although I would love to see something that pretty on a big fancy screen. But most likely I'll just wait until it's streamable and watch it then. Simply because I don't know. I don't catch anything. Especially the big C. Because I don't know how I will recuperate from it if I do have it. I've had a couple of friends that had it, and for them it was just a mild cold, but then they don't have the underlying health issues. So I don't know, it's still scary to me. Maybe I'm overreacting, but it's still very scary to me. This is one 60s orange kitchen cat. Oh my god. Oh jeez. Oh, that's my neighbor. I guess they're remodeling, so if you hear that banging. Let's see, what movies have we seen? We just watched Evil Dead Rise. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a fantastic reboot. I didn't like the so-and-so remake, I guess you'd say, that they made back in, what was it, 2013? I didn't like that one. I thought it missed the mark. But I like the original Evil Dead, but I didn't like 2 and 3 because they turned them into comedies, and it just screwed up some more on this. I really got to learn how to stay on the lines with these markers. Pencils are more forgiving because you can do erasing. But anyway, I didn't like the reboot. I liked the first one and this one. I think they go pretty good hand in hand together. And that's Thor barking at the neighbor. So, what else did we see? That reminds me. I'm going to be starting a second channel where I do movie reviews. They're going to be quick movie reviews because I hate movie reviews that they'll take 30 minutes to tell you if a movie's good or bad, or if they liked it or they didn't like it, because they go into so much detail about, every hair that was out of place on whatever actor or actress. I hate that. And I used to be with a little app called Stardust, and I made so many friends on there, and we still have stayed in touch, many of us. And that was 30 seconds. You had 30 seconds to leave a movie or TV show review. And we all had so much fun doing it. And then the app went under. They ran out of money, I guess. And I sure miss it. So I'm going to do movie reviews that are like 1 to 5 minutes. I think that's more than enough time to tell you if I like something or not. So that channel will be linked down below. I haven't done any yet, but I've got the channel all set up. So if you want to follow me on there, if you want to hear movie reviews, or if I like the movies, I'm not even sure I should call that a review, or just my opinion. So if you want to watch that, that'll be linked down below. And I'm very excited about it. I just haven't sat down. I have so many movies to review because I love movies, and I have old movies, and then there's, of course, new movies coming out, and like The Evil Dead Rise, which I did love. Very gory, and I will never look at a cheese grater the same way again. That's all I'll say. What else? Gosh, it's hard to... I did not like Wakanda Forever. I hated it. Trying to think what else I've watched lately. I have them in my head, but they've all just gone completely out now of my head. Boy, this is terrible. You guys are never going to watch me color again after this, but I'm just kind of experimenting and playing around. Boy, I've just gone blank. Well, just watch the movie review channel once I get it up, and you can see it. I did see some plays. Kimberly Akimbo, excellent. Made me cry at the end. Absolutely loved it. If you get a chance to watch that, you should. I was kind of surprised that I was disappointed with Some Like It Hot. I mean, it was good, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't as good as I thought it would be. But it was good. I liked the music in it, and if you look at the YouTube video for the song they did, Some Like It Hot, I think you'll agree it's great. But I guess I thought the whole musical would be that kind of foot stomping, fun. And it really wasn't. So that kind of... I think when I watch it again, I'll like it. But, yeah, if you're into plays and stuff like that. And there's always like Broadway HD and stuff to see plays. Boy, this is a strange looking kitty cat. Alright, let's get a different color, because God knows I don't have enough of them. Let's see. I think I want to do a pink for the belly. Or should I? I'm going to do a pink. What the hell? I've already screwed it up enough. Yeah, this is terrible. The colors I picked. So many of you always talk about, oh, you always know just what colors to pick. Pencils, yes. Apparently markers, no. Oof. Well, if any of you are still watching, and will even watch me again after this, geez. Oh my goodness. So what movies have you all watched? Oh, I hated, well, I won't say I hated, but I did not like Quantum Mania, the new Spider, the new Ant-Man. Well, they're all insects. The new Ant-Man, I didn't like that one. I did not like Universe, what the hell was it called? Doctor Strange, the one with Wanda. Multi-universe of whatever the hell. I did not like that because I had watched Wanda on Disney Plus and I loved that show. I thought she was great, but it didn't seem like the same character. Well, it's because the director and the writer refused to watch the TV show Wanda, and so of course it's not gonna match up. Duh. So I didn't like that. Just like I don't like this. I did like the Spider-Man movie Far From Home or Never Gonna Get Home or whatever it was called. Boy, I'm going to do great with movie reviews, aren't I? No, actually, I will have them in my mind and we'll have the names and stuff properly for that. But that was good. I liked it. But there haven't been a lot of movies that are, well, I feel any good. So, that's just me. I don't like this, but I don't know what to make it. You know what? Let me try something. Let's see if I can just fill it in. What the hell? It's screwed up from top to bottom anyway. But I like old black and white movies. And now Voyager, The Ghost of Mrs. Muir, The Uninvited. I love those. See, those I know the names of. I know who's starring them. It's all these new ones that I watch one time, especially if I didn't like them. But, like I say, doesthedogdie.com is a fabulous site because it really helps for you to know if an animal is going to get hurt in the movie, and if you can't deal with that as much as I cannot, it's definitely a lifesaver. Or should I say a trigger saver so that you don't get triggered. I get triggered so bad. I've had things happen in movies that I wasn't expecting to the point where I'm hysterically crying. I just can't deal with it. We watched a movie, I don't remember the name. It was about these kids wanting to get it was set back in the 80s or something. And the kids wanted to get an Atari or something. Oh, I bet you're all screaming it out at me saying, it was that movie. And there was a dog in it, and I didn't think, because it's a comedy, anything would happen to the dog, but something happened to the dog. So, it involved a big TV. Now you probably know what movie I'm talking about. So, I try to warn people, and I will do that in my reviews. You know, there's an animal, blah, blah, blah. You know how they have the ratings, and then when you watch a TV show or a movie on streaming, it will say there's smoking, foul language, sexual situations. I really believe they should put animal cruelty or something so that people like me who get triggered will know not to watch it. I know a lot of people have been triggered, from what I'm understanding, the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I don't watch those anyway because I don't like the guy in it. Pratt, I think he's an asshole. So I don't watch those anyway, but I know a lot of people are triggered because there's a lot of animal cruelty in that apparently. And so that's something I wouldn't watch if I even did like their shows or that movie. So they need to have little warnings, just like the smoking, violence, sexual situations kind of thing. They really need to put this worked actually. I'm surprised with the blending. I didn't know I could do that. Let's try it here. But they don't put that, and they should. And I don't know who to write to see if they could start doing that, because I think it would help a lot of people. If anybody knows, let me know. I'll write them a letter and say, please add this. I think it's important. I think it's more important than smoking. I mean, I don't smoke or anything like that, but if they feel people should be warned about that, they really need to warn people if animal abuse is going to happen in the movie. That's very interesting. I'm going to do the whole thing because I don't like that pink. See, I'm learning something. I'm learning how to go outside of lines and make it look like crap. But I am learning something here about using markers. So, but yeah, I think they should add that to the movie rating system thing, so that when you watch it, you would know. And let's see. Okay, glad markers don't smell like they used to. Although I remember when I was in school, you could get markers that smelled like fruit, and I always thought those were cool. But instead of coloring with them, I used to just sat there smelling them all day. TV shows. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Love that show. Sad that it's going away. This is the last season. But gosh, I love that show. I think she's awesome and funny. And I'm curious where it's going to end up. Was watching Barry, but then last season sucked. That's on HBO Max. And some stuff happened, and I said, that doesn't seem like the character at all. And this season too, so I don't even care how that ends. Oh, and then we started watching a show on, well, now it's MGM Plus, called From. Strange title, right? But that's what it's called, From. Ooh, that's a good show. I like that show a lot. Although this season's been a little boring. It just started, season 2. Boring. So I'm hoping it will get better. I'm going to see if I can add some shadowing here. Hoping it will get better. The first season, though, oh my gosh. It was terrific. It's about a town where if you end up in that town, you can't leave. And people end up there from all over the United States. I don't know if the world, but... And there are these creatures that come out at night. And we don't even know what they are yet, but they're very hungry. And it's a lot like Salem's Lot. To me, it makes me think of like a sequel to Salem's Lot. So I really like it. I'm hoping this season doesn't stay boring. And I'm also hoping, because it's from the people that made Lost, I'm also hoping they don't pull a Lost. There's some where they don't really end it properly, and it goes off in so many weird directions. That's a show I liked too. I liked Titans on HBO Max, and I liked Doom Patrol. And then Doom Patrol just got so stupid. It was almost like the writer said, well, who cares about story? Let's just make it as weird as we possibly can. And they did, and I don't like it anymore. So I'm glad it's actually going off there, because who cares? And Titans I liked, but it's gotten crappy too, so who cares? Glad it's going off the air. I hope I haven't bored you. But hey, I gave you some gossip about people in my life, and I gave you an update on the dogs. And like I said, I'd love to hear what's new with you guys. Put it down in the comments. I don't want this to ever be a one-way thing where you guys just listen to me and think that I don't want to hear about you guys. I really do. I always reply to comments unless they're nasty, and I just ignore them or delete them. I don't feed trolls. It's not worth it. Let's see what other. I'll do this for the center. So yes, I would like to know what's going on in your lives. And the next coloring video I do will be with pencils. Again, any tips and tricks, I could certainly use them, apparently, when it comes to using markers. But at least I'm trying something new. Okay. And I suck at it terribly. But you know, I'm not one of those YouTube people that only shows their best work. Because nobody only does their best work each time. Things rarely come out perfect. So, I want you to see my mistakes so that, because I've had people say, oh, I'm afraid to color because I might screw it up. Or I'm afraid to color for, whatever reason. And I always say to people, don't be afraid to screw up. Just like I've done here. It's awful. But I tried something and it was fun to do it. I like the way these, it's very smooth and stuff like that. But I just suck at it. And I go outside the lines. I can't erase that. So I'm disappointed in myself. But I tried something, and I'll probably do more because I'm going to try to master this. But this is the best I can do with markers. Apparently, I'm not a marker person. So, anyway, so that's about it for today. I hope.
Oh, you're still here. I was worried maybe you got bored and took off a long time ago. But thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share my videos. It helps the channel grow. And come back every Thursday for another Throwback Thursday. And let's take a trip down memory lane together.